This is a rough season. I feel like people paint your 20s out to be this amazing season and it's the best years of your life, and obviously it is what you make it, but it's tough out here. It seems a little silly. You're like, I'm in my 20s, I don't need to go and find friends, but we're human. We're built for community. God literally wired us for community, and so it's important. And when we don't have that, we isolate. If you've ever done that before, you would understand the pitfall and the feelings of what come with that. So, practical ways to build community in your 20s. Here we go. Here are some tangible things. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Now What podcast. I am your host, Sierra Stout. I'm so glad you're here, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps this video get pushed out to more and more people like you and me who need to hear it. So thanks for doing that. But today we're going to be talking about, again, something that nobody prepared us for, and that is finding community in your 20s. Man, this is a rough season. I feel like people paint your 20s out to be this amazing season and it's the best years of your life, and obviously it is what you make it, but it's tough out here, and especially when you're coming out of a season of sports or athletics, I think it can be even more difficult because you've had community handed to you, you've been involved with people day in and day out, and spending time with them more than your biological family, you definitely create a deeper connection with others. And so I think when you're kind of just sent out to the real world and you realize, man, I don't really have community, and oh, there is life outside of my sport and there's other people besides teammates, and no, you're not going to have people that are doing the same things as you, or they may not even be super like-minded, but you have to be intentional about finding that. So I wanted to unpack it because when we've had built-in community for years and we really didn't have to work for it, and then all of a sudden now we have to work for it, there's a little bit of hesitancy that might come up in our head of like, what is this? What do we do? This feels foreign. So that's what we're going to dive into today. So first and foremost, you might feel a little guarded. You might feel tired and unsure about how to even go about such a thing as finding community. It seems a little silly. You're like, I'm in my 20s, I don't need to go and find friends, but we're human. We're built for community. God literally wired us for community. And so it's important. And when we don't have that, we isolate. If you've ever done that before, you would understand the pitfall and the feelings of what come with that. So I just want to break that off, and we're going to go forward today. But the world, shocker, is not set up like a team. You know, you're not waking up every day with the same people and doing all of these things and working towards a cohesive goal. And sure, you might find that a little bit in the workforce, but that's just completely different. I think that a lot of work environments are not set up the same way, and sure, some places have amazing culture and probably experience that to a different degree, but the places that maybe don't have a super strong culture, you just feel like a body. You're showing up, you're getting in, you're getting out, and you go home. And that doesn't feel super intentional. That doesn't feel relational, and it probably doesn't even feel like community. I vividly remember when my sport came to an end and some months went by, and I was processing about the fact that I didn't really feel like I had community. I didn't have that like deep level connection that I wanted and that I realized I had had for so many years that was nonetheless handed to me. And it had me processing like, man, would these people have even been my friend if we weren't on the same sport team? And would I have even been their friend? And you realize you're just kind of placed into this cohort of people. And when it comes to an end, you process things a little differently. And in this new season of who we're becoming and who we're growing into, you want to find people that are like-minded. You want to find people that bring you joy. You want to find people that you genuinely connect with, and you're not just kind of put into a space with them. And not saying that I didn't have incredible teammates and that was a super awesome season of my life, but it's just different. And I just remember feeling like, man, Sierra, like you got to go find community if you want it. Like you can't just sit back and hope that it comes to you. And so again, that's what I want to unpack today. But this is what I've learned about building real community. You know, you're not just going to find it. Like I just said, you're going to have to go and build it. You got to go build what you want, what you wish you had. And it's not like you're just going to walk down the street one day and bump into a group of people that remind you of your team and you're just going to ride off into the sunset and connect and click in 2 seconds. No, that's not really how it works, unfortunately. I wish that it did. But community is built through repetition. It's built through vulnerability, and it's built through time. quantity time and quality time. This is what actually builds meaningful connection, which is probably how you connected with people growing up in high school, in college, your sports team, whatever it was. You had quantity and quality time with these people, and that's what set you up for a deeper level of connection and community. But I hate to break it to you, somebody's got to go first. So you're probably going to have to say yes to the invite when they come, or you're going to have to go and create the invite and encourage other people to say yes too. You know, it's hard. I think we're so used to waiting for people to choose us, to invite us, even in the sports world. Like, you had your built-in teammates, you had your coach, you're waiting to be picked, you're waiting to be chosen. And then once you were secure. So I think it's easy to get stagnant and just wait for that, when in reality we need to be the ones to kind of break off fear of man, get uncomfortable, and go do the thing. You got to go and be the one to invite and to connect with these people. But I also think another thing to focus on is that we got to get rid of this highlight reel connection, or this immediate sparks flying with relationships, even if it just is friendships. You know, I think that real friendships and real relationships are probably going to have some awkward starts. They're going to have canceled plans. They're going to have showing up when you don't feel like the best version of yourself. And that's real, though. That's real life. It's not going to be this movie scene moment of, hey, we connected and now we're besties and we're going to go do everything together. Sure, I understand in certain circumstances that might happen, but that's not the reality. That's not real. And so I just want to encourage you and remind you that we're looking for safe people. We're looking for like-minded people, not just something cool and short. We're looking for something that's actually meaningful and worth having. The next thing is proximity matters more than perfection. What does that mean? Well, in short, you got to keep showing up in this similar proximity. For example, I go to the same coffee shop and do work from home there a lot. And now the baristas are like, hey Sierra, how you doing? It's good to see you, because I'm a regular. But even that makes it feel like I have a sense of community there. It's really interesting how something as simple as that can make you feel seen and known, but it does. And why does that happen? It's because I show up. It's because I'm intentional. It's because I have the conversation with the barista across the counter. And over time, now I'm known by name, and there's something really sweet to that. Or showing up to the same gym, or signing up for specific classes. You show up time and time again, the coaches start to know you, the people in the class start to know you, you start to know them, and voila, feels like community. It's really special and it's really sweet. But how is that happening? It's because you're keeping that proximity close instead of looking for perfection. And time again, quality, quantity, it's making connection. And that familiarity actually builds comfort. And what does comfort do? It builds trust. And so that's why I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of proximity, especially in our 20s. I'm like, come on, we got to find ways to be consistent, show up, put ourselves out there, and watch what happens. It's actually been really cool for me to see, and I'm glad that I've made myself uncomfortable to do certain things, because it's allowed me to grow in connection and feel like I have more community. Next, I need you to accept that you might grieve what you had. And that's totally normal. Grief is normal. Again, if you haven't already, I did an entire episode on grief. You can click it right here. But it's okay to grieve. And it's okay to still love what you're building in this current season. There's room for both. And so I just wanted to make sure that I named that and almost gave permission for it, because I know that I had to give permission to myself when I was realizing that I was kind of navigating the both and. And so missing your team doesn't mean that you're not grateful for where you are. Missing what once was doesn't mean that you're not loving your current season now. It's just going back and forth and processing this transition of your life. And again, your 20s are hard. They're so hard. I wish that somebody prepared us more for this, because nobody's talking about it. We just have this idea that it's supposed to be perfect and sunshine and rainbows, and in reality, it's not. I think it's still fun, and there's been really, really beautiful things in this season, but I know that there's been some false idea of what this should be, and so I just want to breathe life into the reality of most people in their 20s. So yes, community after sports and in your 20s can look different, but I just want to encourage you with this. It can actually be a lot deeper than anything that you've ever known. I found that to be true, and so I just want to encourage you in this season that you're not alone, and it can be better. All right, now we're to my favorite part of these episodes. It's when we dive into the practicals, because I hate when you hear good things and you're relating and you're like, yeah, now what do I do? So I always make sure to have some practical portion of my podcast episodes because I just want to bring these ideas and these conversations to life and how we can tangibly go about them. So, practical ways to build community in your 20s. Here we go. Here are some tangible things. Number 1, you can join a rec league, you can join co-ed sports, you can join a run club, you can join a gym class. I encourage you to find a way to connect through movement. I found it's a lot more organic, one, because it's something that we're used to if you've played sports your whole life and you had that community coming through something that you actively did together. So I encourage you to do that. Watch what happens. Number 2, host a low pressure hangout. Be the one to call up a couple friends and be like, hey, do you guys want to go get coffee? Do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to have a joint FaceTime call? Whatever it is. It might be really silly, but host it. Be the one to step into that space and do it. I know about a month ago, I was sitting alone on a Saturday and I was like, man, I really wish that I had this. I really wish I had that. And instead of feeling sorry for myself and falling into these lies and these traps that it's really easy to fall into, I ended up just stopping myself and reaching out to friends and being like, hey, do you guys want to go to dinner at this spot? We can bring cards, we can play games and hang out. And I ended up getting a yes from all 3 of them. Ended up being one of my favorite nights of the summer so far. And all it did was take some intentionality. I was the one who led the charge with this, if you want to call it. And it ended up being really beautiful. And it was funny because they all were sitting there too by themselves thinking, man, I wish I had something to do. But it just took the initiative of somebody being like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's go do it. And obviously they had to say yes and lean in, but be the one to do that. Number 3, join a local group, whether that's through a church, through a gym, through a book club, through networking events, whatever it is. Commit to going, even when it's awkward, even when it's uncomfortable. I've personally been forcing myself to go to things that are definitely out of my comfort zone. And I've noticed growth though, every time that I've shown up. And every time that I leave, I end up having a connection that I'm now pursuing outside of that event. And so it's been really cool. It's been really sweet. So I just encourage you to do that. Number 4, connect with your old teammates maybe in some new ways. I know that some of my old teammates, we connect in ways that are outside of sports completely, which is actually really beautiful. And it took a little bit of time because when your foundation is based off of something that was cohesive in that season of your life, and then you realize, hey, we're actually friends without this sport, it's really cool. But maybe just suggest reconnecting outside of your sport and find unique ways that can really draw you in together outside of that season. And number 5, this is arguably the most important one, and what I want you to hear the loudest. Go be the friend that you wish you had. Process what that would be. What do you want? What do you want from somebody? And then go be that for others. It's amazing what happens when you start showing up and doing things that you wish you had, how it actually fills that void. It fills that gap in yourself. And so go be the friend that you wish you had. So after taking away some of these practicals, I have a challenge for you. As soon as this podcast is over, which will be shortly, I want you to reach out to somebody that's been on your heart, been on your mind, somebody that maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Reach out to them, ask them to go to coffee, ask them to go on a walk. If you live far from them, have a phone call, catch up, be intentional, and get out of your comfort zone and do the thing, because I promise you, everybody's feeling similarly. They're looking for community, they're wanting it, and they're waiting for somebody to reach out. So instead of just waiting yourself, go be the person to connect, go be the person to make the move. Be bold in it and watch what happens. All right, guys, so if this episode has impacted you in any way, I encourage you to share it with a friend, share it with a teammate, and if you don't have anybody to share it with, well, do it anyway, because it really helps me out. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. As always, if you have any questions or comments or want to pick out the favorite part of your episode, you can always DM us, find our Instagram down in the show notes below, or you can send a comment wherever you're listening. So thank you to those who are reaching out and doing that. But I appreciate you all being here. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. It really helps this content get pushed out to more and more people like you and I who need to hear it. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Now What Podcast.